Hello, good people of the internet. You may be wondering if the title to this very video is a clickbait. Rest assured, it is not. The Borderlands movie has just come out and I'm really questioning a decision that I have just made about my life.
You had my curiosity.
Well, in the last couple months, my life has undergone some serious changes. I, for example, have changed my job into the one that pays much better and in my humble opinion is a better one than I had previously.
Wow!
Because of that, because of those savings, I also started to fulfill my life dreams, to achieve my life goals, and one of these goals I've had for almost 15 years now, and it was to have a tattoo, a Borderlands tattoo.
You chose poorly.
Long story short, here it is. I personally believe it's really cool. The bandit from Borderlands, it's a symbol of the game, basically. I want my tattoos to mean something to me. When Borderlands 2 came out in 2012, I was in a very dark place mentally. I was very depressed. I was on the verge of self-deletion, basically, and that game was something that kept me sane, because that was the only thing that allowed me to release some steam, to stop me from, to stop the dark thoughts in me from overwhelming me. And because of that, I survived. I had no job back then, so I had time to play, and I spent, I don't even know how many, around maybe 800, even maybe 1,000 hours. I got to know all the secrets, I got to know all the characters, all intros, all the storylines, all the lore. I love the Borderlands lore. And I believe because of that, I'm still here, and I'm really not exaggerating here. And I'm not recording this video just to, I don't know, to look for pity or whatever. That's not the point here. I just wanted to explain why this dude on my arm means so much to me. And I'm planning to continue doing exactly that. I will do my hand later. Possibly, probably there will be Deadpool and Wolverine. Even though the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, I believe, in my humble opinion, is the weakest of all Deadpool movies, but it's still years, light years ahead of what has been released since the Endgame. And I also love both of these characters, as well as the actors. So it's a no-brainer for me. So, why the title? Why right now I have second thoughts about this? Why I doubt my decision? Why I keep asking myself whether I made a mistake with this or not? Well, it's because of what is becoming of the franchise.
You think this is gonna hurt?
So, when we're talking about the timelines, I of course played Borderlands 1, but it was nothing to write home about. It was a good game. It was nice shooter-looter, and I like the fact that the weapons are so diverse that you never know what you get. A box of chocolate. And then Borderlands 2 came out, and like I said, I fell in love with everything. The world of Pandora, the weapons, the weapon handling, the characters, and of course, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest villains that was ever written for not only video game, any medium. Handsome Jack, the man himself, the guy oozing personality and charisma, the guy you love to hate. God, I loved this guy and I hated him at the same time.
Yeah, I know, I'm your hero, you're my biggest fan, blah blah blah, welcome to the club.
Then it was the time for the pre-sequel, which, contrary to what many people say, I really enjoyed playing. It was basically a Borderlands 2 DLC with a little bit better graphics and a bit more effects like ability to freeze enemies and the butt slams on the moon, low gravity and lack of air. That was cool, that was good, but the story was what kept me hooked, because it was something like the Anakin story, basically a descent of quite alright guy at the very beginning into chaos, into madness, because the pre-sequel showed us how Handsome Jack became a villain. Therefore, I also spent long hours with the game. After that, something amazing happened. Telltale Games decided to make a game in Borderlands universe. Guys who made The Walking Dead, the guys who made The Wolf Among Us, and the guys who also made games about all the franchises, adventure games, not even adventure games, those were basically visual novels with an illusion of choice, but I loved playing them anyway, and they made a game about Borderlands. I couldn't wait, and I wasn't disappointed. Even now, after playing all these Telltale games, I still believe Tales from the Borderlands has one of the greatest storylines. Of course, it had problems, issues, because the episodic format of the game brought them into huge plot holes which couldn't be filled in any possible way. Also, studio had some issues at the very same time and basically reduced the team that was working on Tales to a skeleton crew, but they managed to finish it, and they managed to finish it with quite satisfactory ending, even though, well, the final twist is a bit open, but I was fine with that. Little I knew, that was the end. That was the end of the golden age of Borderlands, because then Borderlands 3 came out.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
And what we got? Well, of course, we got much better weapon mechanics. Shooting, looting, that was improved even more. And guns feel very good in this game. I still play it from time to time. So, all this usual, weapon searching grind, it's still there and it's amazing. However, the story of Borderlands 3 falls flat on its face. And by the way, I think it was one of the first game that was touched by Sweet Baby Inc. or something of the sort, because it was obvious. It was one of the first time I still was a gaming normie, so to speak. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know why they make this kind of narrative choices. That was weird for me. I didn't know why all women suddenly became amazing, strong, independent. Why little, I will not swear, but Ava, which I believe is one of the worst written characters, why 12-year-old became so prominent in the franchise despite being yelling, spoiled, hateful brat that should be deleted, so to speak, in one of the first scenes, because of her, one of the greatest characters in Borderlands franchise was, well, destroyed by the villains. And those villains compared to Handsome Jack are also terrible. I don't know who got the idea of making YouTube streamers into villains in Borderlands game. That was a terrible, terrible choice. So, great gameplay, great looting, shooting, absolutely abysmal writing. Silver lining is side quests to Borderlands 3 are pretty okay. They have this Borderlands vibe. this crazy wacky humor, so that was fine, but the main story absolutely terrible. DLCs were fine-ish. In the middle of the Sweet Baby Inc. craze, when they were the most prominent in video games, we received the new tales from the Borderlands.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
I played one episode. I couldn't bring myself to play more. This was and still is one of the worst narrative games I've ever played. And rightfully so, because it wasn't made by Telltale Games, it was made by Gearbox, and turns out they have no idea how to write good stories anymore. So, when Borderlands the movie was announced and first trailer came out, I was hopeful but not very excited. I was okay with this. I wanted more people to get to know the Borderlands franchise, to consume this vast lore. However, I was disappointed by the last installments, which means I wasn't getting my hopes up. As it turned out, that was a very good decision because the movie came out and we all know how it ended. Yeah, the movie is terrible. I'm not going to say a lot about this because there is not much to say. It's a colossal flop. It's one of the worst movies of 2024. I've seen the interview with the director, and he said that when making the movie, he was inspired by Mad Max. He was inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy. He was inspired by this, by that. He mentioned a lot of movies, but do you know what he didn't mention?
What?
Yeah, he didn't mention Borderlands. Apparently he wasn't inspired by the source material, which is a common trope in modern Hollywood, by the way. So I got this freak here, mate. And right now I'm worried about the future, because Borderlands 4 was announced. However, after everything that came, I don't know what's going to happen with my beloved franchise. There is a huge chance that it's going to end just like so many other franchises, gaming ones. Destroyed by people who have no freaking idea how to write characters, how to write good stories, how to stay true to the lore, who want to basically push their own agendas, their own ideologies into the game, and results are always abysmal. I don't want Borderlands to become another Witcher, completely run to the ground by Netflix. And I'm planning more tattoos. I just hope that in the future I will not be ashamed that I made this. I will not be ashamed of what became of something that was so great, that was so amazing, that had such a cult following. I hope. So please, tell me in comments below. Have I made a good decision? What do you think? Maybe I shouldn't overthink it. Maybe I'm just making a mountain out of molehill. Right now, I'm happy. So, see you next time. Thanks for staying with me till the end. Cheers. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe, drop a like and press the notification bell so you won't miss anything I upload. And if you didn't enjoy this, well, subscribe anyway. At least you will know when there is a new video to actively hate.